Dear secondary students, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to a new lesson of English which is entitled High-Tech Transport. Listen to the talk show in which two people are having a debate and answer the questions. Debate means discussion. Here we have a dialogue between the talk show host Karima and Nadia. Let's start listening. Talk show host: So, this evening I'd like to welcome our two guests. We have Karima, who works for an organization that wants us to use public transport more often. And we also have Nadia, who works for a company that makes electric cars. Karima, maybe you could start the conversation. Why do you think more people will have decided to use public transport in 20 years' time? Karima: Well, I think the answer is quite clear. Because the dangerous gases that cars produce are bad for the environment. By the 2040, everybody will have realized that and decided to do something about it. Now we have a conversation between the talk show host and Karima. The talk show host asks Karima why she thinks that more people will have decided to use public transport in the future. And she answers, because it produces harmful gases, which is bad for the environment. Now listen to Nadia. I am sorry, but that isn't true of all cars. The electric cars that we make don't produce any gases that damage the environment. They are very environmentally friendly. Experts believe that by 2030, most people will have bought an electric vehicles. Nadia sees that the electric cars are very useful and they don't produce any gases that damage the environment. Now let's complete. Listen to Karima. I am not so sure about that, Nadia. Do you really think all drivers will have changed the type of vehicle they drive in less than 10 years? I think that by 2050, the price of electric cars won't have gone down so much that everyone can buy one. Now Karima says that the electric cars will be not expensive, so everyone can buy electric car. Now let's complete. Listen to the talk show host. Can I just say something here? By 2030, the types of transport available to us will have changed completely. Don't you think? Perhaps we will have flying vehicles instead of driving on the roads. And if we do still have cars, we want to drive them ourselves because we will have bought driverless cars. What would you say to that? Here the talk show hosts say another opinion, that after 20 years, maybe everything will change completely. Maybe there will be flying vehicles. Let's complete and listen to Nadia. Whatever happens in the future, in 10 years we won't have given up on driving our vehicles. So let's make sure those vehicles are environmentally friendly. Nadia thinks that we will not stop driving cars in the future. Now let's listen to the talk show host. He is asking Karima. Karima. Then Karima says, well, I think people will still want to travel in the future. Of course, but everyone will have realized that protecting the environment is the most important thing and they choose public transport instead. Karima thinks that people will use the public transport in the future because they will know that protecting the environment is the most important thing. Now let's answer the questions. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Number 1. Which problem do both Karima and Nadia want to solve? A. improving our public transport networks so more people can use them. B. Making vehicles and public transport more affordable in the future. C. Getting people to travel in a more environmentally friendly way. The answer will be C. Getting people to travel in a more environmentally friendly way. Both of them, they want to solve this problem. Number 2. Which solution does Karima suggest? Driving cars less often and using public transport more often. B. Stopping people from driving cars so they only use public transport. C. Stopping the production of cars because it's bad for the environment. The answer will be A. Driving cars less often and using public transport more often. Today we have the future perfect tense. First of all, let's see the uses. We use it to express an event that will happen in a specific period of time in the future. And it always comes with these expressions: by, before, by the time, this time. ده زمن المستقبل التام، بنستخدمه للتعبير عن حدث هيحصل في المستقبل بس في وقت معين in a specific period of time. بنستخدمه امتى تاني؟ When there are two actions happening in the future. The first action will be in the future perfect tense. Usually comes with these words: as soon as, once, after, when. كمان بنستخدمه لما بيكون في حدثين بيحصلوا في المستقبل. الحدث اللي هيحصل الأول في المستقبل بيكون في زمن المستقبل التام. Let's see the form. In the affirmative, we have active and passive. Active اللي هو المبني للمعلوم اللي بيبدأ ب subject and then will, then have, then past participle. Past participle اللي هو التصريف الثالث للفعل. This is the form of the future perfect. For example, when I say, he will have decorated the house by next August. Okay? Let's see the passive of this sentence. The passive starts with the object, then will, and have, and been, and the last part past participle. For example, the house will have been decorated by next August. Now let's see the form of the negation. It starts with subject, won't, have, and past participle. For example, he won't have decorated the house by 6 o'clock. If we want to start with the object, it will be passive. Object, then won't, then have been, then past participle. For example, the house won't have been decorated by 6 o'clock. If we want to form the questions, the yes-no questions, we start with will, then subject, then have, then past participle. For example, will he have decorated the house by next August? We can answer yes, he will, or no, he will not. The passive starts with will and object, then have been, then past participle. For example, will the house have been decorated by next August? And the answer will be yes, it will have been decorated, or no, it will not have been decorated. What about the WH questions? If we want to form it, we start with the question word, then will, then subject, and have, and past participle. For example, when will he have decorated the house? and the passive starts with the question word will, then object and have been, and the last part past participle. For example, when will the house have been decorated? Now let's see some questions. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Number 1. My daughter, her exams until next week end. Here we have the key word until, so we use the future perfect. Will be finishing, or won't be finished, or will have finished, or won't have finished. Here we will use it in the active form, so the answer will be C, will have finished. Will plus have plus past participle. Number 2. I expect we all the work by 5 o'clock this evening. Will have been done, or will have done, or will be done, or will be doing. The answer will be will have done. It's also in the active form. Number 3. Magdi finished work by 8 o'clock tonight. Will have, or will have been, or will be, or has. The answer will be will have finished. Number 4. Scientists cure most diseases by 2050. Won't discover, or will have discovered, or has discovered, or will have been discovered. The answer will be will have discovered. Here we have the key word by 2050. So we will use the future perfect tense. Number 5. I think several species of plants and animals disappeared by 2050. Will be, or will have been, or will have, or have. The answer will be B, will have been disappeared. Here it's in the passive form, not active. So we started with will, have, and been disappeared. Number 6. Mr. Ashraf checking our exams answer by Monday. Going to finish, or will be finished, or will have finished, or will have been finished. The answer will be C, will have finished. It's here in the active form. Number 7. We in Cairo for 5 years next month. Will have been, or will be, or are going to be, or are being. The answer will be A, will have been. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you and see you later in the next lesson.